Have you ever noticed how, in moments of deep pain, your first instinct is to reach outward? We look for comfort in people and places and distractions. We hope that someone else will carry our burden, soothe our wounds, or mend what feels broken inside. And yet, no matter how much support others give us, the quiet truth remains. The deepest healing is something only you can do. The Buddha once said that we are each our own refuge, our own island. These words are not meant to isolate us, but to remind us of the power we already carry within. Healing doesn't begin when someone else fixes us. It begins when we turn inward, when we discover that the source of peace and the source of suffering both lie inside our own heart. Think about it for a moment. Every hurt you've ever carried, every scar from the past, was shaped not just by what happened, but by the way your mind held onto it. Two people can face the same storm, yet one emerges with resilience while the other feels shattered. The difference isn't in the storm itself, it's in how the heart meets it. That is where healing is born. And this journey, the one we are about to explore together, is not about seeking miracles from the outside world. It is about discovering the miracle already within you. The miracle of awareness, of mindfulness, of letting go. It's about seeing that you don't have to chase healing like something far away. Healing happens the very moment you stop running from yourself. There is a simple yet profound beauty in realizing this. No one can hand you peace. No one can grant you freedom. No one can truly erase your pain. But you, through your own mind, your own practice, your own compassion, hold the key to transform it all. That is the essence of Buddhist teaching. That is the starting point of self-healing. So as you listen, don't just take these words as ideas. Let them settle in your heart. Notice how they echo in your own life. Moments when you waited for others to rescue you and moments when you finally chose to stand on your own feet. Which of those truly made you stronger? The truth is, the greatest teacher you will ever meet is not out there. It is the quiet voice inside, waiting to be heard. And as we step deeper into this journey, you'll see that healing is not about fixing something broken. It's about uncovering what was always whole, always luminous, always untouched by suffering. This is where our exploration begins, with the courage to look within, and the wisdom to realize that you already carry everything you need to heal. If the beginning of healing is the courage to look inward, then the next step is even more profound, realizing that both your happiness and your suffering are born from the same place, your own mind. We often believe our pain comes from the outside world, a harsh word from someone we love, a disappointment at work, a loss that feels unbearable. And yes, these events are real and they do hurt. But what lingers, what keeps echoing long after the moment has passed, is not the event itself. It's how our mind clings to it, how it shapes a story around it, how it replays it again and again like a wound we keep opening. The Buddha taught that nothing outside of you has the power to truly bind you. Pleasure, pain, gain, loss, these are conditions of life, always changing like the wind. But the root of suffering, the chain that keeps us trapped, is attachment. The way we grasp at pleasure, fearing it will slip away. The way we resist pain, hoping it will never touch us. In both cases, it is not the world that enslaves us, it is the mind. Think about it. Two people can face the same challenge, let's say the loss of a job. One person collapses in despair, believing their worth has vanished with that role. Another sees it as an opening, a chance to rediscover purpose and grow. The situation is the same, but the response is entirely different. What creates happiness or suffering here is not the event, it's the perspective. This is why the Buddha emphasized self-mastery. Not mastery over others, not control of the outer world, but mastery over the mind. Because the truth is, the world will never stop shifting. Seasons change, people come and go, fortunes rise and fall. If your peace depends on things staying the way you want, you will suffer endlessly. But if you train your mind to rest in awareness, to embrace change, to let go, then peace becomes unshakable. There is a story told in the Zen tradition. A monk once carried a heavy jar of water up a mountain path. He stumbled and the jar shattered, spilling everything onto the ground. For a moment, his heart filled with anger, weeks of effort wasted in an instant. But then he stopped. He watched the water soaking into the soil, feeding the earth, disappearing back into the cycle of nature. And in that moment, he laughed. He realized the jar was never truly his to begin with. The water belonged to the earth, and the earth had simply taken it back. The only thing that created his suffering was the thought, "This was mine, and now I've lost it." How often do we do the same? We cling to relationships, possessions, even identities, thinking, "This is who I am, this belongs to me." And when life changes, as it always does, we feel broken. But the pain doesn't come from the change itself. It comes from our unwillingness to let go. Now imagine shifting that perspective. Imagine meeting joy without clutching it, meeting sorrow without running from it. Imagine living with the trust that everything, whether delightful or difficult, is simply a passing wave in the vast ocean of life. Then happiness is no longer fragile, and suffering no longer defines you. This is the heart of Buddhist wisdom. You are not a victim of the world. You are the creator of your own experience. And the key is not to change everything around you, but to understand, train, and free the mind within you. When you realize this, even for a moment, something changes forever. You stop blaming the world for your pain. You stop chasing it for your happiness. Instead, you begin to see that the true source of both lies right here, within your own heart, within your own awareness. And that realization is where freedom begins. When life feels heavy, when worries race through the mind like restless winds, and when the heart aches with burdens unseen, there exists a doorway to peace that requires nothing more than your presence. That doorway is mindfulness. It's the art of coming home to yourself, fully awake, fully alive in this very moment. Most people live in a constant state of distraction. Their minds are pulled into the past, replaying regrets, reliving mistakes, or they're thrown forward into the future, worrying about what might go wrong. Rarely do they pause long enough to realize that life is only ever happening now. And yet, this very moment, simple as it may seem, carries the key to freedom. Mindfulness is not some abstract philosophy. It is a practice, a gentle training of the mind to see clearly. Imagine drinking a cup of tea. Most people sip while scrolling on their phone, or their thoughts drift elsewhere. But mindfulness invites you to stop, to notice the warmth of the cup in your hands, the fragrance rising with the steam, the quiet joy of simply being here. That awareness transforms an ordinary act into a meditation. Suddenly, tea is no longer just tea. It is a reminder that life itself is miraculous. Through mindfulness, you discover that your thoughts are not chains but passing clouds. You are not the storm of your emotions. You are the sky that holds them. This shift alone can be revolutionary, because when you see thoughts for what they are, temporary visitors, you stop clinging to them as truths. Fear becomes less intimidating. Anger begins to soften. Sadness turns into a teacher instead of a jailer. And then there is meditation, the deeper wellspring of this practice. Meditation is the stillness that reveals what words cannot capture. It's not about escaping reality, but about seeing it without distortion. When you sit quietly, focusing on your breath, your mind will wander. It always does. But every time you gently guide it back, you're not failing, you're training. Like strengthening a muscle, each return builds resilience, clarity, and calm. The power of meditation is not measured by how long you sit in silence, but by how it transforms your daily life. You begin to notice subtle shifts. You speak with more patience, listen with more compassion, and even the smallest frustrations lose their grip on you. That's because meditation teaches you how to befriend your own mind. Consider this: the greatest battles we fight are rarely with the world outside, they are with the storms inside. Meditation gives you the tools to walk through fire without being burned, to meet suffering without drowning in it, and to open your heart even when it feels easier to close it. And here lies the true healing power of mindfulness and meditation. They are not just techniques, they are medicine for the restless spirit. Each breath taken in awareness, each moment lived in presence, becomes a seed of healing. Over time, those seeds grow into a garden of peace, compassion, and wisdom. What's beautiful is that anyone can begin right now. You don't need a temple, a retreat, or a perfect setting. All you need is the willingness to pause, to breathe, and to turn inward. And in doing so, you'll discover that the strength to heal has always been within you, waiting to be remembered. There comes a moment in every life when we realize that much of our suffering is not caused by the world itself, but by the way we hold on to it. We cling to people, to memories, to outcomes, to identities, believing they will give us lasting happiness. And yet, the tighter we hold, the more fragile life feels, and the more afraid we become of losing what was never truly ours to begin with. Attachment is like holding water in your hands. The harder you squeeze, the faster it slips through your fingers. In the same way, the more desperately we try to grasp at permanence in a world that is constantly changing, the more pain we create for ourselves. Relationships shift, possessions decay, even our own bodies are changing with every passing moment. And when we resist this truth, we suffer. But letting go does not mean abandoning life. It does not mean you stop loving or stop caring. True letting go is an act of freedom. It is loving without trying to possess, enjoying without needing to control, and appreciating without demanding permanence. It is the art of releasing the weight you were never meant to carry. Think of a bird perched on your hand. If you try to trap it, it will fight to escape. But if you allow it to rest freely, it may choose to stay longer. In the same way, when you release your grip on life, you create space for genuine connection, for peace, for joy that is not dependent on conditions. Every attachment begins with a story we tell ourselves. I cannot be happy unless this stays. I cannot live unless this person is mine. I cannot feel safe unless this outcome is guaranteed. But when you pause and see clearly, you realize these stories are illusions. Happiness is not chained to what you hold outside. It flows naturally when you loosen the chains inside. The Buddha often compared attachment to a flame that burns the hand holding the torch. You think you are holding light, but in truth, you are burning yourself. And only by releasing the torch can you walk in freedom. Of course, letting go is not easy. It asks you to trust in life, to open your hand even when fear whispers that you'll be left empty. But here is the paradox. When you let go, you don't end up with less, you end up with more. More space for peace, more room for gratitude, more freedom to experience life without fear of losing it. And slowly, you begin to see that what you thought you needed to cling to was never the source of your happiness. The joy was always in your heart. Letting go simply clears the way for you to feel it fully. One of the most profound truths we encounter in life is impermanence. Everything changes. The seasons shift, the body ages, friendships evolve, and even the emotions that once seemed overwhelming eventually fade. Yet instead of embracing this truth, we often resist it. We fight against change, trying to freeze moments that were never meant to last, and in that resistance, suffering grows. Impermanence is not meant to frighten us. It is meant to awaken us, because when we truly see that nothing stays the same, we begin to appreciate life in a way we never did before. The morning sunlight through your window, the sound of laughter from a loved one, the softness of a breeze on your face, all become precious when you remember they will not last forever. Healing begins when we stop clinging to permanence and learn to flow with change. Imagine a river. If you try to dam it, the pressure builds and eventually it breaks. But if you let it flow, it nourishes everything it touches. Life is the same. When we allow its current to move through us without resistance, we find peace even in the midst of loss. Impermanence also carries with it a hidden gift, the promise that no pain lasts forever. The heartbreak you feel today, the grief that weighs down your chest, the loneliness that seems endless, all will shift, just as every storm eventually clears. Knowing this gives us strength. It reminds us that healing is not only possible but inevitable if we allow time and awareness to do their work. When we accept impermanence, we stop holding life hostage to our demands. We begin to live fully, with gratitude for what is here now. We love more deeply because we know nothing is guaranteed. We forgive more easily because we realize time is too short to waste on resentment. And we find a gentleness toward ourselves, understanding that just as every flower blooms and fades, so too do our joys and sorrows. This is not a philosophy to memorize. It is an invitation to experience directly. Watch the sky at dusk as colors shift and fade. Listen to a child's laughter as it rises and falls. Notice how even your breath comes and goes, each inhale a birth, each exhale a letting go. In these simple acts, impermanence reveals itself as the rhythm of life. And once you see this rhythm clearly, healing naturally follows. Because you no longer fear the changes, you move with them. You no longer mourn the passing of every moment, you celebrate it. You no longer cling desperately to what must leave, you bow in gratitude for what has been given. Impermanence, when understood, does not take away from life. It gives it depth. It makes every moment a treasure. And in that awareness, the heart finds a healing that is deeper than any wound. We live in a world where it often feels easier to show kindness to others than to ourselves. We comfort a friend when they are in pain. We forgive a loved one when they make mistakes, and we offer patience to a child learning to grow. But when we look inward, the voice we hear is rarely so gentle. Instead, we criticize, judge, and demand perfection. And in doing so, we close the very door to healing. Self-compassion is not weakness. It is not indulgence. It is the courage to treat yourself with the same tenderness you would offer someone you deeply care about. Think of the last time you made a mistake. Did you scold yourself? Did you replay it again and again in your mind? Most of us do. But imagine if instead you placed a hand on your heart and said, "It's okay. I am learning. I am human." That simple act of kindness can transform shame into growth and pain into wisdom. Compassion toward yourself begins with awareness. You notice the way you speak to yourself, the expectations you carry, the endless comparisons you make. And then you pause. You ask, would I say these words to a friend I love? If not, why do I say them to myself? This question alone can awaken a new way of being. The truth is, you cannot heal if you are at war with yourself. You cannot find peace if your heart is weighed down by self-hatred. Healing requires acceptance, an embrace of both your light and your shadows. And compassion is the bridge that allows that embrace to happen. When you practice self-compassion, you create space to rest. You allow yourself to breathe without pressure, to fail without fear, to try again without shame. You become your own ally instead of your own enemy. And slowly, the inner wounds begin to soften because love has replaced judgment. It helps to remember, every human being carries scars. Every soul has stumbled, fallen, and longed for forgiveness. You are not alone in your struggles. And by offering compassion inward, you join the shared humanity that connects us all. Self-compassion also gives you strength. When you are kind to yourself, resilience grows. Because instead of wasting energy fighting your own heart, you direct it toward living fully. You begin to trust yourself again. You begin to heal not by forcing, but by nurturing. So the next time you feel pain, place your hand on your chest and whisper, "May I be gentle with myself. May I allow healing to unfold. May I remember that I am enough." These words are not empty. They are medicine. And over time, this medicine dissolves the harshness within, leaving space for peace to rise. To be compassionate with yourself is to finally come home, to rest in your own love. And from that place, true healing begins. There is a quiet strength that grows within you when you learn to simply observe. Not to judge, not to suppress, not to cling, just to watch. This is the beginning of wisdom. Most of us go through life trapped in a storm of thoughts and emotions. Anger flares, fear rises, desire pulls us in every direction, and we react without pause. But when you turn inward with the calm eyes of observation, something shifts. You begin to see clearly. You notice anger before it explodes, sadness before it consumes, and joy before it slips away unnoticed. In that awareness lies freedom. Inner observation is like lighting a candle in a dark room. Suddenly, the shadows no longer frighten you because you can see them for what they are. Thoughts lose their power to control you. Emotions lose their ability to drown you, and life no longer feels like a prison. You realize, I am not my anger. I am not my fear. I am the one who is aware of them. This is where wisdom is born, not from books, not from theories, but from your own direct experience of watching the mind. The Buddha once said that knowing yourself is greater than conquering 1,000 enemies. Why? Because the real battlefield is within, and victory comes not from force but from clarity. When you cultivate inner observation, you start to see patterns. You notice how certain words trigger your defenses, how certain desires create endless chasing, how certain memories reopen old wounds. And instead of being a slave to those patterns, you begin to step outside them. This distance is wisdom. It allows you to choose your response instead of being driven by reaction. But wisdom is not cold or detached. True wisdom is compassionate. It sees clearly, yet holds gently. It understands that every thought and emotion has its place and every struggle hides a lesson. With wisdom, you don't reject your inner storms. You listen to them, learn from them, and let them pass. Inner observation also teaches patience. You realize that growth does not happen in a single moment but through countless small awakenings. Each time you pause instead of reacting, each time you breathe instead of judging, each time you notice instead of suppressing, you are building the muscles of wisdom. And the beauty is the more you observe, the more peaceful life becomes, because clarity dissolves confusion and understanding transforms suffering. You begin to walk through the world with steady steps, no longer shaken by every wave, no longer blinded by every storm. This is the gift of wisdom and inner observation, the ability to live with open eyes, open heart, and open mind. To see life as it is, not as fear paints it, not as desire distorts it, but as it truly unfolds, moment by moment, breath by breath. And in that seeing, you find healing deeper than any wound, freedom greater than any possession, and peace that no one can take away. There is a quiet truth many discover only after years of searching. No one else can carry the full weight of your happiness. Not a partner, not a friend, not even family. Others can walk beside you, they can inspire you, they can share your journey, but they cannot live inside your heart. They cannot breathe for you, think for you, or heal for you. Happiness, in its purest form, must rise from within. From the moment we are children, we are taught to look outward for joy, approval from parents, praise from teachers, love from relationships, recognition from society. And while these moments feel wonderful, they are also fragile. Because the moment those things are taken away, or simply change, as all things do, we are left feeling empty, abandoned, or incomplete. But when you pause, when you turn inward, you begin to see the source of happiness was never out there. It was always inside you, waiting to be remembered. Like a well that never runs dry, your heart carries its own water of peace and contentment. You just need to stop searching outside long enough to draw from it. Depending on others for happiness is like trying to hold the wind. It slips through your fingers, leaving you exhausted. But when you root your joy in self-awareness, in gratitude, in mindfulness, you realize that no one can take it away. Because it is not given to you, it is grown within you. This does not mean you must walk alone. Relationships remain beautiful, love remains sacred, companionship remains a gift. But you no longer cling to them out of desperation. Instead, you share your life from a place of fullness, not emptiness. You give because you have, not because you are lacking. Think of a candle. If you rely on another's flame to light your life, the darkness will return the moment their light fades. But if you discover your own flame, you can illuminate your path no matter who walks beside you. And when two people each carry their own flame, their light together does not create dependence, it creates abundance. Happiness that comes from within is unshakable. It does not vanish with rejection. It does not collapse with loss. It does not weaken with time. It is a state of being rooted in your connection to life itself, in your trust of impermanence, in your ability to sit with yourself and still feel whole. So the question is not, who will make me happy? The question is, how can I nurture my own heart so that happiness flows naturally? And when you begin to live that question, life changes. Loneliness softens into solitude. Fear transforms into trust. And relationships become lighter, freer, more genuine, because they are no longer chains but choices. True happiness is not about finding someone to complete you. It is about realizing you were never incomplete. So much of our suffering is not born from the present. It comes from the weight of the past and the fear of the future. We replay old wounds as if we could change them, and we worry about what has not yet arrived as if our worry could shape it. In doing so, we abandon the only place where life truly exists, this very moment. The present is simple, yet it is everything. Right now, you are breathing. Right now, your heart is beating, carrying you forward. Right now, there is life flowing through you, asking only to be noticed. But how often do we ignore this miracle because our minds are elsewhere? Healing begins when we return to the now. When you let go of yesterday's regrets and tomorrow's anxieties, you free yourself from the chains that keep you bound. The present does not demand perfection. It simply invites you to be here, to notice the air entering your lungs, to feel the ground supporting your steps, to taste your food without distraction, to listen to another human being with your full attention. Living in the present is not about denying the past or refusing to plan for the future. It is about not being trapped by them. You acknowledge your memories, you prepare wisely for what may come, but you do not allow them to steal the beauty of what is unfolding now. Think of a wound on the body. If you keep picking at it, replaying the pain, it never heals. But if you leave it in peace with gentle care, the body restores itself. The mind is no different. When you live in the present, you allow your inner wounds to close. You stop reopening them with constant replay, and instead you create space for healing to take root. The present also carries a quiet power, gratitude. When you are here, truly here, you begin to notice the small wonders you once overlooked. The warmth of sunlight on your skin, the laughter of a stranger, the comfort of silence. Gratitude grows naturally in the soil of presence, and gratitude is one of the strongest medicines for the heart. To live in the present is to give yourself permission to rest. It is to stop chasing a better moment and realize that life is already happening right here, right now. And when you embrace it fully, you discover something profound. Peace was never in the past nor in the future. It has always been waiting in this breath. So pause, breathe, feel. This moment is enough. And in this moment, healing is already happening. Every step you have taken through this path has been a return. Not to somewhere far away, but to yourself. The truth is, healing is not a destination. It is not a final point you reach, where all wounds vanish and life becomes perfect. Healing is a journey, a living practice, a daily invitation to meet yourself with presence, compassion, and courage. Along the way, you discovered that suffering and happiness both arise from within, that mindfulness opens the door to peace, that letting go frees you from chains, that impermanence gives life its beauty, and that self-compassion softens even the deepest wounds. You've seen how wisdom comes from observing your own mind, how freedom is found in not depending on others for happiness, and how living fully in the present allows life to unfold in its most authentic form. And now, as you stand at this moment, you realize something important. You already carry everything you need to heal. You always have. No teacher, no philosophy, no external force can give you what you have not yet chosen to give yourself. The willingness to be here, to breathe, to let life move through you with trust. The journey of self-healing is not about erasing pain. It is about transforming your relationship with it. It is about learning to sit with your wounds without fear, to listen to your heart without judgment, to live each day with the quiet strength that comes from knowing you are enough. This path is not linear. There will be days when the old wounds ache, when doubts return, when the mind drifts into the past or the future. And that's okay. Healing is not measured by perfection, but by the gentle act of beginning again, again and again. Every time you return to your breath, every time you choose compassion over criticism, every time you release instead of cling, you are healing. So take this truth with you. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are not defined by your wounds. You are shaped by how you rise from them. And with each small act of awareness, each whisper of kindness, each breath taken in presence, you are walking the sacred path of self-healing. The journey is yours, and it continues now in this very moment, in this very breath. And if these words have touched even the smallest corner of your heart, carry them gently into your life. Healing is not just something you listen to, it is something you live. If this journey resonated with you, I invite you to join us here at Zen Buddhism Wisdom. Subscribe to the channel and walk with us as we continue to explore the teachings of the Buddha, the practice of mindfulness, and the timeless path toward inner peace. And if you know someone who might need this reminder today, share it with them. Sometimes a single seed of wisdom can blossom into a forest of healing. May you be at peace, may you be free, and may the light you carry within guide you always.